السلام عليكم. Welcome back to another episode of Quran in English. My name is Ahmad, and I am happy to take you through the second chapter, second section of Surah Al-Rum, the chapter of the Romans. Which, if you were paying attention, if you watched my last episode, you'll know that I've been struggling with this chapter, and the struggle continues today. I've slept. I started fasting because now it's 6 a.m. Anyway, what am I doing here? I'm trying to read the Quran and understand what it says, and learn by reading and by trying to explain. And that means I'll make mistakes. That means I'll go through waves of understanding and waves of confusion. So if you don't want that, I'm sorry, but this may not be for you. Anyway, let's get into it. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. If I got something, there it is. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. منيبين إليه واتقوه وأقيموا الصلاة ولا تكونوا من المشركين. Turning towards him. Doesn't say, "Oh, believers," but it's kind of understood that you should be steadfast in the uprightness. That is the straight path, but most people don't know. And what is the straight path? Turning to him, turning to God, and be mindful of him, and establish prayer, and do not be from the polytheists, those who believe in multiple things. I kind of want to do like a counter of, have we heard this statement before? Because this is not new, for example. Turn to God, pray, and don't be a polytheist. من الذين فرقوا دينهم وكانوا شيعا كل حزب بما لديهم فرحون. And those who divide their religion and they were becoming sects, each one is a party for them. Each party is in what they have rejoicing. Now this something I like this idea and I like this discussion because it's something that I talk about time and time again. It's like the different believers, modern day Muslims, modern day Christians, modern day Jews. Each of them has some form of guidance from God revealed to them, and everyone's like, "Oh, our guidance is the best. Our guidance is so great," and everyone's just holding on to their own guidance. So I do like the kind of the split between the religions, and this describes it very beautifully. وإذا مس الناس ضر دعوا ربهم منيبين إليه ثم إذا أذاقهم منه رحمة إذا فريق منهم بربهم يشركون. So we've heard this statement before many times, but now it's in the context of the different sects. And if hardship or adversity touches or afflicts people, then they pray to God, turning to him. But then if his mercy afflicts them, touches them, if they receive mercy from him, the pain and suffering goes away, then a party of them, of their Lord, will disassociate. And it always uses the word like disassociate. Disassociate is not the right word. Will associate partners. And it's like, it's not just believe in something other than God. It's just invest your belief into anything else, whether it's power or money. It's not just other gods. You know what I mean? Yeah, but we've seen this statement again. Actually, it's going to give us two parallels. One is being touched by hardship, praying to God, and then getting mercy, and then not feeling connected to God. And then it's going to give us the opposite, which I also kind of like. ليكفروا بما آتيناهم فتمتعوا فسوف تعلمون. So that they will deny with what we have granted them, what we have given them. So enjoy, and soon you will know. أم أنزلنا عليهم سلطانا فهو يتكلم بما كانوا به يشركون. Or did we send to them an authority? Did we send somebody to speak on God's behalf? So he speaks about what they were with him associating. So what's interesting about the statement is, okay, you're saying that no authority is saying otherwise, but there are many people that claim to be authorities, and a lot of people believe them. Does that mean, obviously they're believing the wrong thing, but the concept of, did we send down an authority? Well, how are we supposed to know who was sent down by you or not? Also think about it from, if there was a messenger or a prophet, there's no more prophets anymore because the Prophet Muhammad was the last prophet. But if there was a messenger to come today, how would anyone know that they're the messenger of God? What, because they said so? Clear proofs. They're supposed to come with clear proofs. Yeah. That's why we're reading these verses, to contemplate and think and reflect and see what we can think of. وَإِذَا أَذَقْنَا النَّاسَ رَحْمَةً فَرِحُوا بِهَا وَإِن تُصِبْهُمْ سَيِّئَةٌ بِمَا قَدَّمَتْ أَيْدِيهِمْ إِذَا هُمْ يَقْنَطُونَ. And that was the opposite of what they said before. Before they said if they had hardship, they pray, and then once they're in good hands, they start focusing on different things other than God. And here, and when we taste people mercy, then they rejoice in it. And if it afflicts them an evil, for what their hands have set forth, so what if they suffer at their own hands, then behold, they are in despair. Oh, woe is me! Why is this happening to me? God, why have you forsaken me? So we have the two examples. When times are good, they believe in God. When times are bad, they let go. And then when times are good, they're happy, and when times are bad, they feel miserable and they don't appreciate what they have. أولم يروا أن الله يبسط الرزق لمن يشاء ويقدر إن في ذلك لآيات لقوم يؤمنون. Do they not see that God extends his provisions to whom he wills, and he straightens it? No, he measures it. Yeah, it gives abundance or limited provisions to whoever he wills. He measures exactly, he knows exactly how much blessings everyone should receive. And in that is a sign for people who believe. Now this, last episode I was struggling with the signs, and somehow this is one that I can resonate with. And maybe that's why not all the Quran resonates with me. Maybe it's not supposed to all resonate with me. Maybe it's supposed to be so many different types of arguments because there are so many different types of humans out there, and what works for one doesn't work for the other. But this one really works for me. This concept of non-attachment and acceptance of whatever happens. Whatever good or bad that happens in your life, learning to accept it is the first step to not suffering it. Or even the good. Because if you think that, the good that's coming my way, finally, things are good, things are great, it's finally going my way, this is finally my year. This type of conversation, this type of thought is going to hurt you down the line. Because then when bad things happen, which bad things inevitably will happen because life is balanced, let's say, then you'll say, things were going so well for me, and now they're not. So this concept of you receive in measure the provision when you're supposed to and when you're not supposed to, that it's all part of a grand system. This sense of accepting fate and destiny is one that really resonates with me. So this one is a sign for me. Maybe that's kind of the point. I don't know. فآت ذا القربى حقه والمسكين وابن السبيل ذلك خير للذين يريدون وجه الله وأولئك هم المفلحون. So give the relative their due, their right, and the poor, and the wayfarer, the one who's lost along the way. This is these three are a beautiful, beautiful statement. That you should take care of your relatives, that you should take care of the needy, the poor, the ones who have come up across a hard time, and you should take care of the traveler who is stuck abroad. That is best for those who desire the face of God. Wajh Allah. Here they translate it to the pleasure of God. Yeah, seek the face of God. And those are the ones who are successful. I'm trying to think of again, this is not my motivation, right? I'm not doing good deeds to see the face of God. I'm doing good deeds because I want to be right. I want to believe in a world where the good will get rewarded and the bad will get punished, kind of. I also just believe in doing good, I believe that goodness begets goodness. Okay, we're diverging a bit too far. But at least my attitude's a bit better than yesterday's episode. Astaghfirullah. وما آتيتم من ربا ليربو وما آتيتم من ربا ليربو في أموال الناس فلا يربو عند الله وما آتيتم من زكاة تريدون وجه الله فأولئك هم المضعفون. And you're not and what you gave from a loan, a tax. Usury is not a word that I am familiar with common. So what loans you give. Yeah. Loans kind of it's a loan because you give it out and then you expect something in return for it. So whatever you give for usury, so that to increase from the wealth of people, so that you can increase your own wealth in the wealth of other people, then it will not increase your wealth with God. That's kind of the concept. The loans you give seeking interest in other people's wealth will not increase your wealth with God. Another meaning is that the gifts given to someone with the intention of getting more expensive gifts in return, a common ancient practice. Yeah, I can kind of see that. But generally, whatever you're doing to kind of benefit you, now we're entering the terms of philosophy. Am I being good because I think it'll benefit me? No, I'm doing it because I think that's correct. Let's not confuse ourselves. If you give out a loan, expect it to grow your own wealth. And I think this is in comparison to the good deeds that were just being mentioned. So give your close relatives their due, as well as the poor, the needy. It's best for those who seek the trouble of God. And then the opposite of giving a loan, and the opposite of doing something so that you can get something back is, and what you give of zakah. Zakah is the purification of wealth. Charity is one form of exempling. But the idea is if you have wealth, you give to the needy and to the poor so that you can purify your own finances and wealth. And zakat, you don't expect anything back. You give without expecting anything back. And this is exactly for getting back from God. But I don't do it because I'm trying to get back from God. I do it because I believe it to be right and correct. Desiring the face of God, then those are the ones who will get multiples back. And that is a promise that the Quran often gives. But again, I'm not doing it to get multiples back. I'm just doing it because it's right. الله الذي خلقكم ثم رزقكم ثم يميتكم ثم يحييكم هل من شركائكم من يفعل من ذلكم من شيء سبحانه وتعالى عما يشركون. God is the one who created you, and then he provided for you, and then he caused you to die, and then he'll bring you back to life once more, give you life. Is there from any of your partners who does from that in anything? I'm trying to think of what people believe in. I guess they don't believe in... They do believe in giving provisions, right? They do believe that other deities that they pray to will make them prosperous, will make them successful, will make them... So the question is, can any of your associate gods do this? They believe so, in the same way that we believe this. We believe that God created us and gave us provisions and then causes us to die and brings us back to life. We believe it because we physically cannot interact with God. We cannot validate this, but it exists as a truth due to our belief. So we have as much evidence as this. Subhanahu wa ta'ala amma yushrikun. Glorified and exalted is he above what they associate with him. I always struggle with it because they're like, okay, well, can others do what we do? Well, what if they were to ask us the same question? What if they were to say, oh, yeah, Shiva gave me this cow. What did your God give me? Right? I don't know. I don't know if Shiva gives cows. I don't know what... Point being is it's very hard to have this argument from us to them because they can give the argument back to us and neither side can prove anything. ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون. Corruption has spread in the land and in the sea for what their hands have earned. The people, so the corruption spread into the world because of the hands of the people, so that he may make them taste part of what they have done, so that they may return to him. In a way that kind of happened to me. I felt like I failed and that I was lost and that I was messed up and I was doing wrong and if I was a different person, life would have turned out better. And that is why I've been walking back to God. It's easy to kind of think of, corruption, that's just in the hands of the politicians and the kings and the queens, and they're the only ones that are corrupt. And I think it's hard to sometimes look at our own lives and say, no, I was corrupt in a way. لعلهم, so they may return. And perhaps they return. Yeah. قل سيروا في الأرض فانظروا كيف كان عاقبة الذين من قبل كان أكثرهم مشركين. There's that repetition again. Say, travel in the earth and see how was the end of those who were from before. Most of them were polytheists. فأقم وجهك للدين القيم من قبل أن يأتي ليوما لا مرد له من الله يومئذ يصدعون. So set your face to the religion that is upright from before it comes a day that there's no return, there's no you cannot be averted from God. A day from God that cannot be averted. The day can't be averted, not God. A day that cannot be averted from it, that is from God. On that day, people will be divided, and then it's going to talk about the division. من كفر فعليه كفره ومن عمل صالحا فلأنفسهم يمهدون. Whoever whoever ah, whoever disbelieves, then against him is his disbelief, and whoever does good deeds, then it's for themselves. They are preparing for their eternal homes. ليجزي الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات من فضله إنه لا يحب الكافرين. So that he may reward those who believe and do good deeds from out of his bounty. Indeed, he does not like the disbelievers. Generously rewards those who do good out of bounty, and he does not like disbelievers. We've covered these topics many times. ومن آياته أن يرسل الرياح مبشرات وليذيقكم من رحمته ولتجري من الفلك بأمره ولتبتغوا من فضله ولعلكم تشكرون. And from among his signs that he sends the winds, bearers of good tidings, and he can let you taste from his mercy, and that the ships may sail by his command, so that you may seek his bounty and that you may be grateful. And this is one of those signs that were more I want to say they were more prevalent way back when, but I think it just depends on your profession. On your profession, maybe some people who sail still use the wind, but the wind is supposed to be a sign, so there's taste of mercy. I mean, the wind also does carry seeds across areas, change of temperatures. It is a form of life, you know. Perhaps that you'll be grateful. وَلَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِكَ رُسُلًا إِلَىٰ قَوْمِهِمْ فَجَاءُوهُمْ بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ فَانْتَقَمْنَا مِنَ الَّذِينَ أَجْرَمُوا وَكَانَ حَقًّا عَلَيْنَا نَصْرُ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ. And verily we had sent from before you messengers to their people, so they came to them with clear proofs. The messengers always come with clear proofs. And then we took retribution from those who did crimes, and it was truth upon us. It was incumbent, it was our duty, makes more sense, upon us to help the believers, for it is our duty to help the believers. الله الذي يرسل الرياح فتثير الله الذي يرسل الرياح فتثير سحابا فيبسطه في السماء كيف يشاء ويجعله كسفا فترى الودق يخرج من خلاله فإذا أصاب به من يشاء من عباده إذا هم يستبشرون. God is the one who sends the winds so they may raise the clouds, so he spreads them in the sky however he wills, and he makes them fragments, and then you see the rain coming forth from their midst, which here is describing how weather works. And in it is a magnanimous, there is a feeling of irreverence. Something about clouds, I don't know, it just makes me feel the mercy of God. Something about rain and clouds feels I mean, I'm from the Middle East, so the concept of rain, wind, and clouds is such a profound feeling of mercy. Now that I live in the Netherlands, it's a little bit more difficult to appreciate the rain. But like, if we go like 1 month in summer without rain, oof, we desperately need the rain. It's just in winter it's a bit harder to appreciate, you know what I mean? Then when he causes it to fall, then he causes it to fall on whom he wills from his slaves, correct word. He had the chance that it's servants. إِذَا هُمْ يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ, then they are rejoicing. وإن كانوا من قبل أن ينزل عليهم من قبله لمبلسين. And certainly if they were from before, then he would send upon them from before it, surely in despair, although they had just utterly lost. وإذ كان من قبل أن ينزل عليهم من قبله. Why did they have to say it from twice? من قبل. Oh, and they were, before he would send it down to them, they used to be in despair. Whew. AKA, before the rain comes down, they used to be in despair. Yeah. فانظر إلى آثار رحمة الله كيف يحيي الأرض بعد موتها إن ذلك لمحيي الموتى وهو على كل شيء قدير. So look how the effects of the mercy of God and how he gives life to the earth after its death, and indeed that will surely give life to the dead afterwards, because after the earth died with rain it comes back to life, and that's an example of why we will be resurrected, which is hard for me to make that connection, because I don't think when I see a land that's barren and then it rains upon it and then it comes back to life, I don't think, oh, that's an example of me coming back to life after I've died. It feels like two separate events. But he is capable of everything and all powerful. وَلَئِنْ أَرْسَلْنَا رِيحًا فَرَأَوْهُ مُصْفَرًا لَظَلَمُوا وَلَئِنْ أَرْسَلْنَا رِيحًا فَرَأَوْهُ مُصْفَرًا لَظَلَّوْا مِنْ بَعْدِهِ يَكْفُرُونَ. But if we had sent a wind and they see it turn yellow, then they will continue from after it disbelieving. Then if we see a harsh wind which they see withering crops, they didn't mention the crops. They said, if we sent a wind and they see it turn yellow. Now the first thing that I can imagine here is a sandstorm. Yellow wind is a sandstorm, where things are going to get dry and ripped and tested. Then they will surely continue after it in disbelief. Whatever it is, it's a wind that is a bad wind, because it spells something negative towards them, and then they start disbelieving. فإنك لا تسمع الموتى ولا تسمع الصم الدعاء إذا ولوا مدبرين. Indeed, you do not make the dead hear, nor do you make the deaf hear the call if they turn away, retreating. Again, a statement that we've heard many, many times, but now the question is, are they deaf and dumb, or dead and deaf, because they're not recognizing that wind is an omen? What is the connection between the blessed wind and rain and the wind that spells disaster for them, and then not making the dead and deaf, the dead and dumb, the dead and deaf, not making the dead and deaf hear if they've turned away? And also, why have the dead turned away? وَلَا تُسْمَعُ الصَّمَّ الدُّعَاء. And if they're deaf, do they have to turn away in order for them to not? I am tired. Why are they turning away? Turning away makes perfect sense of why they can't hear you. Being dead and being deaf means you don't really need to turn away. One is something that happened to you, one is something that you are doing. And what does this have to do with the wind? And does this have to do with it? Yeah, فَإِنَّكَ. So indeed, so like it's continuing. I do not get this lesson. وَمَا أَنْتَ بِهَادِ الْعُمَى عَنْ ضَلَالَتِهِمْ إِن تُسْمِعُ إِلَّا مَنْ يُؤْمِنُ وما أنت بهاد العمى عن ضلالتهم إن تسمعوا إلا من يؤمن بآياتنا فهم مسلمون. And you are not guiding the blind from their error. Indeed, you can only make hear those who believe in our verses, so they are surrendering, fully submitting to God. And that's true. The only people that the words of the Quran will reach are those who believe. But what about those who believe and then are struggling to understand it? I'm struggling with this chapter, Surah Al-Rum. I haven't struggled in a chapter like this for a long time. But hey, it can't all be sunshine and roses. The road to understanding the Quran is a long one. Anyway, that's it for today. That's the star. Thanks for watching. Sorry if I'm frustrating anyone. I don't mean to be frustrating anyone. I'm just trying to learn. صدق الله العلي العظيم, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. مع السلامة. Bye.